What skills did you take away from that job?
Well, they aren't meaningful right away. When you work, you really don't know what you take away from a job until you leave the job. And then you realize what you learned at that job that is benefiting you today. So I guess we sum that up by calling it experience. And so you have experiences at one job that help you meet the expectations of the next job, and so forth and so on. And so it's a learning process the whole time you're working. Um, it's hard to, you don't reflect on it when you're actually doing it, you reflect on it after it's over. And so when you leave to another job, people always refer to, when I worked at such and such a place, we did it this way or that way. And, they're responding to what they learned from that job. It's a takeaway that they've had. But you really don't recognize it when you're actually doing it. It doesn't dawn on you until long after that job is over.
How do those skills help you in your work today or
Before I retired,
before you retired?
well, I've had an awful lot of very important jobs, and I've worked for some brilliant people that have shared with me a lot of things and so I've made a lot of money. Um, but it all goes back to my first couple of jobs because that gave me the work ethic that made me valuable to them later. Um, I used to have a fellow that I worked for. His name was Howard Kelly Holliday. And I would come in with all kinds of problems, and I'd be a nervous wreck about the problems I had. And he would lean back in his chair, and he was from Atlanta, Georgia. And he'd put his hand on his forehead, and he'd lean back. He'd say, Kennedy, don't worry about the mule going blind. Load the wagon. And sometimes you lose perspective of what it is you're supposed to be doing. And if your job is to load the wagon, then load the wagon. And not worry so much about whether or not the mule is blind. Uh, but people get distracted and they start worrying about things that are not in their responsibility, not in their job description or however, and they forget about their function, and their function is to load the wagon. So I guess, again, that's what experience teaches you. You just have to be open. I feel bad for people who go to work and assume they're not going to learn anything that day. And I think when you watch that program that has the bosses on, where the boss disguises himself and he goes out and he learns so much from those people. And he's so grateful about, well, everybody should be doing that. Everybody should be doing that. And it shouldn't come as a surprise. It shouldn't come as a surprise. The thing that's important is that if you've hired the right person and you've carefully given them responsibilities and tasks that they can complete satisfactorily, until you get there, you really don't recognize why you have problems in your company or why you have difficulties. The reality of it is that everybody's leaning on the wheel, but some people might be leaning in the wrong direction, trying to stop the wheel. So I don't know if that answer. I'm kind of dancing around the question, but it's hard to say what you've learned. But one of the things that I take from Howard Kelly Holliday was that often we worry about things that are not our responsibility, not our job description, not our purpose at a particular company. It's really about what your job is and doing your job the best of your ability. And so don't worry about the mule going blind. Load the wagon.